So many couples choose Italy for their Italian wedding because of the food. But do you know what's actually involved in an Italian wedding meal? I'm going to break it down. Ciao, I'm Lucy. I'm an Italian wedding planner and I'm the founder of Lista. I've planned hundreds of weddings in Italy and I've learned a lot on the way and I want to share it with you. I want you to have a really calm and confident wedding planning experience and the most amazing Italian wedding. So catering. When we dream of an Italian wedding, we're all thinking about plates and plates of pasta, incredible fish and meat, and buckets of wine. But how do you go about actually building the Italian meal that you have dreamt of? Let's go. So there's loads of catering companies across Italy and they all work in quite similar ways really. There is a structure to the classic wedding meal, but like anything and any supplier, there's a huge range in quality and style of these types of suppliers and of course budget. So you do need to be due diligent. You need to shop around, get different proposals and understand them. You need to go and do tastings and you need to get reviews from other people that have used them. Our La Lista Facebook group is a really good place to talk to other couples and find out those types of things. You also need to just not assume that all food is going to be good food. When you go to a tasting, it's really easy for a caterer to do a tasting. They're often doing 2 meals, maybe a few more meals at the same time. It's really easy to put out a high quality of food and really good produce. But how do you know that that produce is going to be used on your wedding day? And how do you know that that meal can be replicated for tens or even hundreds of guests? That is why reviews are absolutely key. So the Italian meal itself is usually broken down into a few different areas. The first one is the aperitivo. Now, in Italy, they actually call this the welcome drink. I call it the aperitif and the antipasti. So this means immediately after the ceremony, you usually move to a different space at the venue and you have a drinks station of some sort. The caterers provide drinks. Some caterers provide one drink like Prosecco. Some caterers provide a whole load of different drinks. Obviously, you need to work out what you want as your meal, and then that will dictate the caterer that you choose. Not all caterers are flexible. Some are very fixed in their ways and they will only offer what they offer. At this aperitif, you're going to have these drinks and then you're going to have some sort of food. Some caterers will just pass with canapes, others will have full-blown stations of food. This can be the cheese, the meats, those classic, amazing, abundant displays of food that you see. But again, every caterer does this differently. Some include all of this in their menu, some have this as an extra. And this part of the day is usually quite informal. There might be some lounge seating around, people standing, sitting. It's all about mingling. It's about you going around and seeing your guests, but really importantly, having a good drink and some food. This part of the day usually lasts between 1 and 2 hours. Then you have your main meal. This is the seated part of the day. So you move to the dinner area from your aperitif and you have your dinner courses. Again, this is different for every caterer and you may have different needs. Some couples don't want too many courses because traditionally foreigners are not used to eating as many courses with their dinner. Equally, it can take quite a long time to have a dinner like this. So some couples choose to reduce the amount of courses so that your day is that little bit shorter and you can get to the party more quickly. The traditional meal is to have an entree, 2 primi and then a secondo. So that's 4 courses. In reality, quite a lot of caterers only offer a primo and a secondo, so that's 2 courses. Your entree is something like a starter, so it's usually quite a small course. It can be hot or cold. Then your primi are a mix of different things. Often pasta and risotto are the options. I've got loads more advice on how to actually construct this menu because there's loads of different things you want to take into account when you're building a menu that's this vast, and you can find out more about that in my membership, the club, which I'll talk about a bit later. After the primo, you have the secondo. This is the main course, so this is usually meat or fish. Some caterers will offer 2 courses here, and you usually have a fish and then a meat, but that's quite rare. And then after all of this, to wrap it all up, some caterers offer a dolce, a pudding. Often I would suggest it's not required. You can go straight to the wedding cake and serve that as the dessert because unlike in other countries where you have like a big sponge cake, the classic Italian wedding cake is a millefeuille, which is really incredible and it makes a really good dessert because it's quite light. So cut your cake and either serve it as dessert or serve it on a buffet as the dessert if you want to move to the party. That is your main portion of the day. Now, timings wise, Again, this is where caterers differ. Really professional caterers can get this out nice and quickly. We tend to budget about half an hour per course, but if you've got speeches and other things going on in the middle, that can really lengthen the dinner. It's really important to think about when you're going to have your speeches and any other entertainment that you might be having through the dinner. Most caterers will really encourage you to only have entertainment or speeches once the plates have been cleared. So if you think of it, course clear speech, plus the fact that they won't start cooking the next course until the speech is almost finished, because we can never know how long a speech will be. That can really elongate a dinner. So just think about those timings. Now, obviously not everyone wants this type of dinner, and there are other things you can do. You can have pizza, you can have a buffet, you can have a barbecue. There are loads of options, and it's just about finding the caterer or the chef or the team that are going to come in and be able to deliver that for you. Everything is possible. When it comes to dietary requirements, you'll gather these as part of your invites or your communications with your guests, and all caterers will offer alternatives for those that need them. Usually you get your base menu together, so you choose your ideal menu, and then the caterer will provide a different list of dishes that you need to meet your dietary's needs. It is often not possible, for example, to say we're going to have beef or fish for the secondee and guests choose. If you want to go down that route, it's often an extra fee. As I've already mentioned, every caterer tends to offer a cake. It's not always included in the cost. Sometimes it is an additional fee. It is often an additional fee to have the cake built in front of you and have the couple join in, because they need to bring an extra pastry chef to actually do that. And then finally, you've got the last element that the catering are responsible for, which is the bar. Now, some venues want to control the bar, so some venues do the bar. Some venues insist that you bring in a separate bar company, but most commonly I'd say caterers are responsible for the bar as well. And again, this is sometimes included in the cost per head, but often it's an additional fee. And that element really does add up. So it's really, really, really important that when you build your budget at the beginning of planning, you have a realistic idea of what catering costs, because that can be thousands and thousands of euro that sometimes people haven't forecast. So that's a quick rundown for you, and in my membership, the club, I've got loads more on this. I talk about all the different parts of the day in so much more detail, how to actually build your menu, how to choose a caterer, and so much more. So if you're looking for more support, come and have a look at the club. And don't forget, I want to reach so many more couples that are planning their Italian weddings, because I think they need to know this stuff. And if you agree, please just comment below, give us a like or a subscribe. That will really help us create more content like this and build La Lista. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.